So as I predicted, the battery kicked out long before I could get to um, the cutoff, cut-in voltage, or whatever you want to call it. So right now it's just reading an erroneous reading of 9 volts DC. Um, and it says that it's charging the battery, but there's no way for it to charge the battery when one of the cells is open, or excuse me, one of the BMSs is open. So what we have to do is we sit here and we wait, and eventually the BMS will reconnect, and then it will start charging. But right now, what's going on is we're just sending power to our loads through the grid. So um, those numbers don't look right either. But anyway, so it was just a few minutes before 7 o'clock it kicked off. But we did make 16.6 kilowatt hours today. But like I said, we'll never get to that low voltage because of the problem with the BMSs. All 4 batteries have their own BMS, and one battery is always going to be less than the rest. And you can balance those batteries, but over time, one of them will end up higher than the rest, and the rest will be one will end up eventually lower. In the case of my inverter, or in my setup, it appears to be the same battery every time on one of the terminals. It's not the batteries in the middle, because you got 4 batteries in series. And so it's a problem that happens when you use 4 12-volt batteries. There's just, it's going to happen. You can get some battery balancer type things and stuff, but so the problem, like I said, with this inverter, you can't set your cutoff voltage low enough to use all your batteries up because the BMS is going to pop. Now, this is a problem you wouldn't actually have with lead acid batteries, so there is one advantage there. But also, since you can't set when the inverter decides to cut off the grid, it has to be whatever it's pre-configured, which I think is 10%. If you set your cutoff voltage at 47, you're going to be at like what? 51.7 volts before it cuts out and goes back to the battery and starts to allow solar to charge. And when it's that high, and you already are running a load like 2 air conditioners all night long, you're probably not going to go ahead and hit the right number anymore. And you'll be sitting there, and then in the morning time the sun will come out, and you'll be sitting there hovering around 52, 53 volts, and it just won't disconnect. And this stupid inverter won't say, hey, I see solar coming in, I'm going to switch to solar to charge the battery. It doesn't do that. It's not that smart. They didn't design it that way. So you have to figure out stupid crap to make it do stuff on a schedule. That's what I read about other people doing. They'd tell it to charge from this time to this time and shut off at this time. But if you don't have instructions for this thing to shut off from the grid, and you're running all your critical loads on this thing, and you're expecting this thing to get to 54 point whatever volts, it's never going to make it. You're never going to be able to use your solar. You're going to have to go in and turn this stupid thing on and off. It's really stupid.